beautiful friends. Namaste. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule, as I have taken time out of my schedule to give you this update as to what has happened to my 2018 predictions, my yearly traditional, more than a decade tradition of doing my predictions live on New Year's Day, as I've done for so very long now. As many of you know who have joined me from all over the world, and I am so very grateful for that, and I thank you. I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't get it to launch. You could see the video. I could get the video to work. I could not get the audio to go through. I had this intuition, this thought that it was being blocked, that I was being blocked, not like me personally, but there was a block. And then I just found out from a friend of mine who's a YouTuber big time that, New Year's Day, YouTube gets a large amount of traffic, probably maybe even their largest day of traffic. And you know how, YouTube is owned by Google and it's all part of the corporate takeover. And, they don't want necessarily you to hear things. There's certain things they don't want you to know. So that intuitive thought and feeling that I had, it made sense. I should have went with that from the beginning. Everything worked on my end, and I thank everybody for trying to help and tell me to reboot my computer. I've done everything. I worked 6 hours straight. I was determined. When I am determined to get something done, I will stay up all night if I have to. Just like this is the first moment that I've had to be able to give you this update, and it is, what is today? Sunday the 7th, but it's actually after midnight, so it's actually the 8th. And this is the first moment I had. And I'm a little tired, a little exhausted from the weekend and going from being off a lot for the holidays and slow with work and getting bombarded. So, and I've been bombarded by your emails, your comments, asking what's happening, where are your predictions. So that's why I felt like it was very important to give you an update and let you know what's happening. I like to do my predictions live because when I do my predictions live, more information comes to me. And over the years of doing these predictions, things have really, really evolved. It's quite interesting because I usually do an opening ceremony, meditation, honoring of spirit, honoring of the universe and so forth, and offerings, and that opens up the channel and then things just come to me. And you actually, where's my list? I'll show you I could be vacuuming the floor and things just come to me and I run and I write them down as fast as I can. I just have pages and pages of stuff. But everything works out for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And from what I was shown from spirit, things shift and change, as you know, just like with our personal lives, they shift and change, as we saw with the election. And, nobody predicted that Trump was going to win. And anybody out there that is now claiming that they did, they don't really have solid proof to say that they did. And those that, I'm not even going to go there. That's not even important. What's important is that I was blocked, and I will do a live prediction show. I have a few dates in mind, but I am also going to give you some information today that I think is really important, valuable information for all of you and for all of us. But with this, and before I present this to you, it's really important for all of us. Remember, your mind is very powerful. Your thoughts are very powerful. Your words are very powerful. What you say creates your reality. So one of my favorite little quotes is that your thoughts and words is the blueprints to your future. And that is still the same for the entire global planet. And we are all the same. We might not look the same, obviously, but we're all the same. We're all human beings, and we all strive and crave the same thing in our lives. And that is joy, happiness, and abundance. And together, if we hold that intention for the planet to shift into the best potential direction for all of humanity and for Mother Earth, we will get our wish. Because we are in the time of the Great Awakening on the planet that started on December 21st, 2012. You remember when the Mayan calendar was coming to an end and they tried to tell you the world was coming to an end, like they do every year, at least 3 times a year? That was the beginning of the awakening of humanity, the awakening of the soon-to-be awakening of Mother Earth, and the raising of our consciousness, slowly but surely. And every year we have these shifts several times a year that's there to shift our consciousness. And the long-term goal is to bring humanity together in pure love. And in order to do that, the issues that are pulling us apart need to come to light. And if you watched my predictions last year, I'm doing things much different this year. It's funny, though, every time I sit down to do the written aspect and, translate all those notes that I showed you into writing, into a script for the live event, more information just flows. That's why I like to do it live too, because things flow when I'm live and I have everybody gathered together in that space. It's really magical, it's really powerful, and it's really amazing for us all to come together. So I have a few dates in mind. I'm going to put that out there to you first. I don't know if YouTube still allows me to do a survey, but if you go to my YouTube page to this video, you might be watching this on Facebook or social media. Go check. There should be a survey at the top corner. If they allow me to do that still, I haven't really looked into that in a while. I'm going to do a survey to see what your opinion is as to what dates that would be best for me to do the live version. And again, I'm going to give you a bunch of things, a bunch of information from my predictions today in this video. Excuse me, allergies. Let's see. So the dates that I have in mind, so I'm really not sure because I'm so used to doing this over a decade on New Year's Day every year. I've done it that way for so many different reasons. To launch off the new year, to get us all to focus our intentions on positive. And no matter what predictions I bring forward, as I say every year, don't let that put you in a place of fear. Instead, we can shift things. We can shift things. Things can totally shift and change. And again, we've seen it with the election. Even though we might not be in United States election, that is, we might not all be on board with that. I don't put my opinion in with politics. I feel like politics are just ridiculous as is. So I have no support for either parties or any of that. But everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Just like something happened with me being blocked on New Year's Day for a reason. And part of the information that I got from Spirit is that actually things in the world globally, but also for United States, actually shift on the date that they do the presidential inauguration every year. Not that, every 4 years, but what is that date? I think it's like 21st or 22nd January, so things shift and change. So that's why I also have come to the conclusion that I'm going to actually do a live event, not necessarily every month, but definitely bi-monthly, to give you whatever feelings and new predictions that I have throughout the year. I think that would be good for all of us because, again, things do shift and change. So the dates that I have in mind to do the live edition, other than what I give you today, is going to be either, I don't know, I'm really confused because I'm so used to doing it on New Year's Day. So I want to be able to do it on a day that allows all of us to come together. So I can either do Friday evening, which would be, probably 7 or 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on January 26th. And that's the other thing. My schedule is very jammed in January. I get very, very busy. So it's hard for me to take out time. And when I do, I'm taking out time on either a day that I'm off or I have to schedule that day off. So I have the 26th of January, which is a Friday evening, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whichever. I can even choose to do the 27th. I would have to commit to lessening my load of clients, if having any at all. And I could do that either in the daytime on the 27th of Saturday or the nighttime. And then the last option, I could do a Sunday evening, either the 21st, or I can do what I did my radio show every week on, which would be a Tuesday night or a Monday night, because they're my normal days off, the 29th or the 30th. So I'm going to put them in the survey. I would appreciate your feedback through YouTube, on the survey, through Facebook, which works best for you, so that I can actually choose a date. If you sign up for my newsletter on my website, josephtittel.com, I will update you as to when I will do the live event. So other than that, I want to welcome you all to 2018. We are in an amazing time. It might not feel amazing, but think about this. Like I said, everything aligns with our personal lives. So therefore, with your personal life and with the world globally, things have to get sometimes really dark before we can reach the light. And we have to create this clearing before we can create an opening to the new. And we are in an amazing time. And I know, personally, on my personal level, the way 2017 ended and the way we walked into 2018 was quite interesting for me. I call the past 4 years of my life, the great purification in my life of clearing away all people, places, and things that need to be cleared, physically, energetically, and emotionally. And just when I think something needs was cleared, the universe wakes me up and says, nope, you got something else that needs to go. Let me get rid of that for you. And when we're resistant to it, the universe makes it happen, and it's not always fun when that happens. So those of you who have been following my predictions for years, you know I usually have a title for the weather, for the year, and so forth. Well, last year, you may remember that I talked about it was the year, and I totally misinterpreted. I thought the awakening included everything back in 2012, but apparently it didn't. The awakening of Mother Earth, just Mother Earth herself, began last year. And we saw that. I told you, I called the weather. I named I have a name for the, a quote for the weather every year. Last year, if you remember, I called it the year of the hurricane. And boy, was it ever. A year of prophecy. And man, was it a year of prophecy, especially with those hurricanes. And actually, I'm just going to touch base on this real quick, that I followed prophecy ever since I was in my late teens. It's all different prophets: Nostradamus, Edgar Casey, the Lakota and Hopi natives, indigenous natives, the Book of Revelation, which I'm not a big follower of all the prophecy of Book of Revelation, but until recently, over the past 2 years, and we had some major prophecy happen. You remember, if you watched my Black Snake video about the Black Snake prophecy, the Lakota Hopi Indians, excuse me, let me take that back, Lakota Hopi indigenous natives, and this past 2017, we had some pretty intense prophecy occur when it comes to the Book of Revelation. I might, I don't have it in front of me. I'm not quoting exactly, but it talks about when the Virgin stands upon the moon, or her foot's upon the moon, the dragon from below will attempt to come up from below and devour her, and devour her child. Her child will make it into the heavens and be safe. There's more to it than that. But now, at that same time, the Virgin represents both the Divine Mother Mary, and the baby, of course, being baby Jesus. And the Virgin also represents the astrological sign Virgo, and the constellation Virgo in the sky. And some point during the summertime, and it's a rare occasion, where the moon ended up aligned perfectly at the foot of the constellation Virgo, or the Virgin. And at that same exact time, the hurricanes Maria Spanish for Mary, and Jose, Spanish for Joseph, Mary and Joseph, the mother and father of Jesus, were spinning in the oceans. And at the time that alignment happened, the hurricanes Maria and Jose actually literally passed each other in the oceans, right under the constellation of Virgo, when the moon was below her foot. So let me tell you, that's a major prophecy happening right there. So I did my own interpretation of that. And if you think about the dragon is the most sacred symbol of all of the Asian and that part of the continent of the world, especially of North Korea. Think about how the dragon devours. The dragon devours using what? Fire. Of course, fire. And what's going on with North Korea? Shooting off missiles, fire. Trying to devour the Virgin, the goodness, the good Jesus Christ, the healer, the Savior, the Lord, whatever you want to refer to him as. And you're not going to devour him, because according to the actual specifics of what's in Revelation, as he makes it safely to the heavens. So the constellation Virgo, representing the Virgin, representing the Mary and the child, is in the sky. In the prophecy in Revelation, it says the dragon from below attempts to devour her. Well, below the constellation of Virgo and Virgin and so forth is the planet Earth. The dragon representing that area of Asia and the continent. And fire representing the missiles and fire and things like that. And look what's going on with North Korea. So, as much as North Korea might try to attempt to devour the light and the goodness and the beauty of heavens, it doesn't succeed. And the whole two hurricanes passing each other in the oceans during the same time, There's no coincidence that there were two hurricanes at the same exact time, one Maria, one Jose, Mary and Joseph, passing each other. Same hurricanes, one of the same hurricanes that totally wiped out the whole entire Puerto Rico and Spanish community. That is, again, some major prophecy right there. You have to really look very deep into the meaning of things. And this takes me into 2018 and some of the things I want to share with you, because I feel like these things are really important to share with you now, because if I don't end up doing my live version of this on, say, we'll shoot to the 30th. We'll say the last day, Tuesday the 30th in the evening. Some of this stuff feels important to me because January is a very important month. It's January. It's the number one. I am not a numerologist, but I do know that in numerology, from my dear friend Allison Bauman at visiblebynumbers.com, has taught me so much. She does some amazing predictions as well. I highly recommend that you go to her website. She sent her predictions out already. I did not look at them at her newsletter. She's the only one that I actually look at her stuff because we're dear friends. I love her with every ounce of my heart and soul. She's an amazing, beautiful soul. That's why I highly recommend that you go visit her site. I'll look at her stuff after I do my predictions and have them all written and organized. I don't have them quite organized. Like I tell you, every time I sit down, I get more information. And I truly believe that block on New Year's Day happened for a reason. And I know that more information is going to come to me. But also, I wasn't intending to do this video. No, I was intending to do this video, but not talking about any of the predictions in this video. Just talking about when I'm going to do it and what actually happened and the block that actually happened. So until I sat down right before I did this about maybe an hour ago, where I was told, no, yeah, you're going to sit down and you're going to write some more of your predictions, and then you're going to read a bunch of them to everybody. Because some of these things I would imagine are probably going to happen in this month. Again, it's a 1 month, the number one, which is all about renewal, new beginnings, new starts, just like we just came out of 2017, which was a 1 year numerology. Again, new beginnings, new starts, new creations. 2016 was a 9 year, which is all about endings, getting rid of the death of cycles. And whenever I think of that, I think of how the relationship with Cuba and the United States shifted in 2016. And then right afterwards, Fidel Castro died. Talk about an ending of cycles, the death of things and the death of cycles. It couldn't be any more obvious and powerful as that. So I think that's probably why Spirit has, insisted and pushed me to bring up some of these predictions for you today. So 2018, so what I've been getting from Spirit is that, again, Mother Earth has started her beginning of a really big awakening from her deep, deep sleep last year. And we've seen it. Look at it in the weather. Look at the hurricanes. Look at what happened. I told you it was going to be the year of the earth, the year of the hurricane. This year, she's going into, stretch mode, super stretch awakening mode, super second gear mode of the awakening of Mother Earth. And the, again, shifting of our consciousness and opening up our hearts and opening up our love. So with that, again, anything that happens in the earth this year, anything that happens in the world this year, try to look at the deep, deep rooted meaning behind it. And I'll explain that. I'll try to explain as much as I can right now. And then I'll go into more of it when we reconnect on the live version of the predictions for 2018. So, excuse me. Let me get a little bit of water here. So I was told that the awakening moves into the second gear of Mother Earth and everything begins to intensify more than ever. And of course, Mother Earth. And then also, this is the year of the elements, all elements, earth, air, fire, and water. The elements that our ancestors worshipped in the four directions of the north, east, south, and west. So you're going to see so much occur when it comes to all those elements, and when it comes to all directions of the earth and all of the continents of the earth, the north, east, south, and west, mostly the west and the east. Big time stuff's coming. And it may end up causing a big divide to happen. Because if you remember, in the United States, Trump talked about building a wall, separate, build a wall. Yeah, that's going to happen, but not on that exact level. And it may end up getting to a point where in order for us to live in pure love and joy and live our lives every day like we should be living it, instead of living in the past, struggling every day to make money, to risk our health to make money, to to keep up, to struggle, to pay bills, and you know how it is. Not being in our pure joy, not living each and every moment of every day like we should be. Instead, we're living in the past. We're too busy focusing on the future and never taking a moment for the actual present. So in order for that to happen, it's very likely that it might go back, if you go back to the times of the indigenous peoples, they lived very happily. They did not have jails. They didn't have presidents. They didn't have anything like that, what the world is based on now. And they were very happy, joyful people that lived very spiritual lives. And so therefore, and they think about the indigenous natives of, let's say, United States. How, you have the Lakota, you have the Cherokee, you have the Navajo, you have the Hopi. And they're all indigenous people, all, again, the same human beings, but they lived in their own tribes separately, in their own communities, living in a community, living off Mother Earth, not polluting Mother Earth, not relying on money, monetary systems, monetary, I can't think of the word, but you know what I mean. We're going to go back to that. That's the whole part about the awakening and the shifting of Mother Earth. And in order for us to do that, we have to clear out all the garbage first. So yeah, there's probably going to be what we can call the Great Divide, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. If people can't get along and can't put their racism aside or their beliefs aside, then maybe, without a doubt, people would be much happier if they had a divide where they had their own communities on one side, north and east, south and north, north and south, west and east. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. And I see a great divide happening. You see it happening in the United States already. You see it in the United States with the tearing down of the statues in the South and the Nazis with their protests and their hatred. Because they lived since the Civil War with this belief that the South will rise again, and yeah, maybe it will. In the South, and those that don't want to be a part of it will go where they need to go in the North, and it'll be a divide that once that things are divided and people are happy in their own space and back in community, not relying and being controlled by politics, government, monetary systems, computer systems, and all of what the darkness has been trying to do for the past couple thousand years, whatever you want to call it, Lucifer, Illuminati, the elite cabal. It exists. I would have never believed it myself until it all came through in meditation. And if you think about it, again, I'm a bad Catholic, I admit it, which doesn't have to be a bad thing. But in the Bible, it says that Lucifer was cast out of heaven and cast down to the planet Earth almost 3,000 years ago. So what's that tell you? The planet Earth has been controlled by Lucifer and the devil or Satan that Christianity has basically turned Lucifer into, to put fear into you, to help put fear into you, to get you in the control of the darkness of Lucifer, and to make you get into this modern day state of enslavement. That's what it's all about. So Lucifer's been controlling everything for a couple thousand years. Well, that's about to come to an end. And in order for that to come to an end, the light needs to come. I highly recommend that you watch my video on Prince, because it's another thing I never would have believed until it came downloaded to me in meditation. So just check it out. How his death in the world, when everything lit up purple, was bringing in the energy of Archangel Ezekiel, who represents the United States, and Ezekiel represents cleaning up the earth. Yeah, just go watch the video. So going back to 2018, it's all about the elements, earth, air, fire, and water. It's all about, as it's been for the past few years, and have you heard me say many times, all about the truth being revealed. The truth needs to be revealed. In order to reveal the darkness, the root of where the darkness comes from, so that the light can shine again. So that Lucifer can lose his control over the planet. And I know how bizarre it sounds for some of you, but it is what it is. And if you go back to the ancient peoples who lived off the earth and lived and worshipped the elements of earth, air, fire, and water, and the shifting and changing of the seasons and the solstice, equinoxes, and moon phases, we're going back to that. And those who are resistant to it, You're just not going to be a part of it. And if you're not a part of it, you're not going to be a part of this human evolution as to where we're shifting into in the Aquarian age. This is all going to happen in just 2018, but it's going to happen over the next few decades. The year, 2032 comes to me a lot. I think that's when the Earth is actually going to shift, because eventually Mother Earth is going to just totally shift. Doing the final clearing of the planet, the final cleanup of the planet, which again isn't a bad thing. Don't go into fear because of it. Those who are willing and able to be in that higher consciousness with the open hearts are going to be the ones that create the new Earth in the Aquarian and Golden Age that we're about to go into. It's very exciting, actually, and I feel very grateful. And I knew it ever since I was a little kid. Used to talk about it. I remember with my spiritual friends when I owned a shop when I started at 19. I remember sitting around. We used to talk about all this, and it's all happening now. All the prophecy that we used to talk about happening in the future is all happening now 20, 30 years later. It's kind of exciting. I know it don't look exciting, but you have to try to keep focused on the good, the love, and the positive of it. So the elements, earth, air, fire, and water. So being that it's all about truth being revealed, and clearing out the bad, and the elements of earth, air, fire, and water, northeast, south, and west being a big part of that, which also represents the Archangels, Raphael from the east, Archangel Michael from the south, Gabriel from the I just drew up like west, water, and then from the north, the element of earth, Archangel Uriel. All of that's coming into play, including Ezekiel, who is all about cleaning up the earth and bringing truth to enlightenment. If you look back to when Prince died, or was murdered, let me say, look at all the truth that's been revealed. Look at this past year with all these scumbag pedophile molesters coming to the open. You ain't seen nothing yet. And some of you who follow me deeply and listen to my predictions last year will remember me talking about that. Because I've been doing this work and been on this journey for over 3 decades. And last year, prior to doing the predictions for 2017, I had the most disturbing vision of all. And that was the underground darkness of where all these missing people go, especially the younger generation and the kids, and how they use them as sex slaves to harvest their organs. And it just really made me so sick to my stomach. And now you start to see that coming to light. You're seeing it come to light. In Hollywood, California, the stuff you watch on that TV, because that television is another thing that is there to brainwash you and keep you under control. All that's coming to light. The darkness knows it's happening. And so that brings me to the thought of bringing up Corey Feldman. He's been popping up in my mind a lot lately. And Corey Feldman, I remember, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years ago, I think it was on The View. Actually, it was probably longer than that because I don't watch any of that TV anymore. He went on The View talking about his experiences with Hollywood and molestation and what happened to his great, dear, beautiful friend, Corey Haim, who fell into a deep addiction and ended up dying at a young age because of it. Well, he has been coming to me a lot in my mind. And then I think I saw something somewhere online or somewhere where I read about him trying to form, he's trying to do something like create a movie documentary about the truth. And I'm going to tell you, they're going to try to take him out before that happens. They might even succeed. So Corey Feldman is in great danger. But at the same time, I do believe in the light, love, and goodness. So please surround him in goodness and light and love. Because he needs to succeed. And we need him to succeed. Because it's time to bring that garbage and trash out of Hollywood and bring them to light. And devour them with the fire and the element of fire. And to wash things clean with the element of water. So this takes me to, this is the year of recalibration and balancing of Mother Earth. And again, another raising of the consciousness of humanity and opening up of our hearts. And in order for that to happen, sometimes we have to go into the darkness for our hearts to open, for us to see things clearly. So one of the first things when I first started to open up to predictions consciously, I kept getting, the sky is falling, things are just falling from the sky. So that takes me to all the elements. And what I was told by what I was directed by Spirit is to pay very close attention, to tell everybody to pay very close attention to where the elements of earth, air, fire, and water end up hitting really hard this year. Not only that, to pay attention to where they're hitting, because they're hitting areas that we need to take a very close, deep look into, because that's where the darkness is hiding. So, for example, we're going to see things falling from the sky in all areas, starting with things coming from outer space through the air. So I would take that as meteors. The first thing that I thought of was what happened in Russia several years back with the meteor. It was in my predictions that year as well, that crashed into the city and threw buildings off. So that popped in my mind. So we're going to see meteors, or things falling out of space through the air, both naturally, which would be, again, meteors, but also things that are not natural. That could be satellites crashing to the earth. That's going to happen in places where there's, like cities or large populations. And wherever they fall, again, pay close attention to that area, because they're falling specifically in areas that they're trying to open up our mind and hearts to take in a very deep look into those areas. Okay, that's where the darkness is hiding, probably under the ground. The other element, fire. Fire destroys things. So we're going to see fire coming from the skies, which would include meteors of some sorts, but that would include missiles. So there's going to be different missiles launched, especially from the United States with Trump. And trust me, I want to vomit when I say that man's name. I really do. I don't know why, but at the same time, the other part of me knows that he was, and again, I do not support any political agendas, any parties. I am not Republican. I am not Democrat. I don't care, to be honest with you. I think we care too much about all that stuff. But there ain't no doubt that man was put into that spot. Look at how everything worked out. And everything they tell you on the news and everything, like how Russia fixed the election for him to win, the people that are in control of the planet and the darkness, they know the prophecies. They know what the prophecies state, and they're trying to shift it in the direction that makes it in their benefit of taking full control and darkness controlling the planet. The God, the heavens, the beauty, the pure love, Jesus, all of that. Lucifer, the darkness, is trying to create that world for himself here on the earth. And that's why they're ripping apart the rainforests, ripping things apart, destroying everything to try to make his own little matrix. He won't succeed. It's not going to happen. That's what my mindset's on. I hope your mindset's on the same, because we don't want it to be the other way around. And it could be. Everything can shift and change. That's what I keep being told constantly. So Trump, somebody pointed this out to me, and I told you how he was, if you look on my video, not my Trump predictions, because they're my predictions, but the video I did on Trump prophecy, I'm telling you, I know people argued the point with their comments and such. I have no doubt he's the one. And if you read about the true white brother with the red cap and all that, as I talk about in the video, and the two other people that he needs to align with, which is Russia and China, in order to bring everybody together as one, there's no doubt. The thing is I don't know if it's going to end up going that way. If it don't go that way, again, there's going to be a divide on the planet. No matter what happens, the whole outcome is going to end up being what is beneficial for all humanity and Mother Earth. And for us to go back to doing things in community and doing things. So if you take the name Trump, this is what really kind of got me. I can't believe I didn't realize this before. And then you take the name Pence and you put them together. And then you look in the book of Revelation where it talks about the trumpets blowing. Back in 2012, right before the big awakening began, people all over the world were reporting that they were hearing the sound of trumpets blowing. Big time. That would be the first blowing of the trumpets. Not a big follower, like I said, of Bible prophecy, but I'm pretty sure there's 3 different blowings of the trumpets. And if you take the name Trump and Pence and put it together, trumpets, yeah, Trump's definitely here to stir things up big time. In a way, hopefully maybe to bring everybody together. But right now, what I've gotten in my predictions, it's not heading in that direction. It's heading in a direction of China and Russia gathering together, coming together. And they're China, and I've said this so many times to people about this whole Russian election, hacking election is a bunch of BS. That it was China, if it even happened, which if it even happened, I swear that they were trying to make it so that Trump didn't win and that Hillary won, but whatever. That's just my opinion in the matter, and a little bit of my intuition there. But excuse me. I told you that China is the one to worry about. China is the one that's hacking things. China is the best with technology. Come on, don't we know that in the world by now that China is the best with technology? They invent all this technology stuff. So that's going to come out. Like I told you, this is the truth. It's all about the truth being revealed. Every year it's going to intensify more and more and more. It's going to get exciting. We're going to see things in 2018 that's going to blow your mind in all areas. And again, go back to the elements of earth, air, fire, and water. Remember that too. It's about to burn people. It's about to wash clean things that need to be washed cleaned, which takes me to China, because China's going to endure. Actually, let me go to, I have my predictions written here. Give me a second here. Excuse me. Let's see. And that's the other thing. The way I've received predictions today, the way I heard them was really, really weird. Not typical. Where is it at? Oh, no, that's Italy. Let me go back. Well, let me read that one, actually. Italy. Oh, poor Italy. People running through the streets. Terror, earth shakes, and fire from the sky. So I took that as a couple things. Italy's going to endure, and I've said this many times last year, more terroristic attacks. People running through the streets. Terror, that would be terror attacks, scared. Earth shakes would have to refer to earthquakes, weather-related events. And fire from the sky, it could be like missiles, but I'm taking fire from the sky as maybe being a weather-related incident, because again, it's all about Mother Earth waking up. So I would say that some part of Italy, going back to, it feels to me like it's some parts of history are repeating themselves. So part of history with I forget what part of Italy it was, with the big volcano that wiped out, and they some of you will know. That's what I thought of first, of volcanoes, repeating history. I think in Nepal, maybe it was Nepal. I'm a little geographically challenged. China, go back up to my weather predictions here for a minute. China, I got... Oh, China, great China, may the gods wash away your sin, may the earth shake beneath you. So I got a lot of quotes like that were really like out of the norm for me. So China, oh great China, may the gods wash away your sins. So they are going to endure in the way of weather, because I placed that under my weather predictions. Major, what do they call them, typhoons in China? Big time China. China's going to have big problems with weather. They're going to have big problems with earthquakes in some of their biggest cities. And remember what I said, where these occurrences happen the most and receive the most damages, or the most biggest hits, are areas where we need to look very closely as to where the darkness is hiding, So I thought that was interesting. But the thing that I really wanted to bring up to you is that, Trump, I was told that Mother Earth, again, is awakening. And Mother Earth's Trump is Mother Earth's human version of the earthquake, basically. We have the weather, earth, air, fire, water, and Trump is the human version of Earth and the earthquake. And it works instead of, how earthquakes, you have a big, like, say, 8.0 or 7.0, and then we have aftershocks that are lighter and smaller. I was shown that it was the opposite with Trump, representing the Earth. So it's going to start out that, he starts out small, and his aftershocks are going to be big. So he started off last year with what I was shown, maybe like a 5.5, eventually moving to an 11.1. Because as I said before, I believe that Trump is going to, again, I want to vomit when I say this, he's going to, he's here for a 7-year term. There's something about the sevens in prophecy as well. He's going to be reelected in a second term. People are actually going to shift their beliefs in him. He's going to do a lot of good for the United States, and protecting the United States, uniting with other countries, changing the allies that we have in the United States, because it's all about clearing things and changing and shifting things, getting rid of the bad relationships, opening up to the new relationships. So he's going to actually also make a big bond with Japan, because China's going to try to take over Japan. So that's why we're going to bond with Japan. We're going to get rid of old allies, make new allies. Russia, and it's like, again, the United States will be divided eventually, but so will the world and the continents of the world. And part of that will be China and Russia. China is going to try to take over India. Just lots of stuff like that. So starting off with, again, Trump starting off with a 5.5 as an earthquake, moving into an 11.1 quake. So that should be interesting. And I believe, again, he'll be reelected a second term and make it to the third year, 7, where he serves 7 years. And this just actually came to me right before I was ready to do this video, is how that would take us to the year, we're in 17, 18, 19, 20, 24, 2024. No, that's not right. Whatever it was, I figured it out. It would be a 7-year in numerology, I believe, if I calculated correctly. I'm not a numerologist, which would bring us back to the number 7 again. So, and I'm not sure what that whole number 7 represents in numerology. I'd have to ask my dear friend Allison about that, but that would be no coincidence in that. And that's what I've been feeling for a while. And I don't know if he's going to die naturally. They are going to try to take him and impeach him, even this year, the summer. They're going to try to take him out. That's why he's so paranoid. He knows it. He knows this. He's very paranoid about his food, who protects him, his family, because he knows that they're going to try to take him out and that they're trying to take him out. But they're not going to succeed. Not this year, not in 2018. That's for sure. And if you remember, this is coming to me now. I'm pretty sure I said this, that last year I had kind of the vision of Ronald Reagan being shot outside, if you remember. Remember, he went into the hospital, and at one point he was waving out the window that he was okay. I had that kind of vision. I'm pretty sure that I mentioned that last year in my predictions. I still get that. So again, they may actually make a physical attempt on him at one point. Again, they're not going to succeed. So, what else did I want to tell you? Oh, North Korea, my friends. This is what I really wanted to bring to your attention. We are not going to war with North Korea. Or he does not have nuclear bombs. And there's this whole underground thing that, again, nothing is as you think it is. That's another thing Spirit very persistently been showing me for the past few years. Nothing is as it appears to be. And many things are the opposite of the truth. And again, if you read and you believe, that's crazy. I can't even believe I say these things nowadays, because I would never believe this years ago. But if you read the Bible, again, Lucifer's deceptive, everything's the opposite. And again, he controls everything, trying to control everything, take full control. Nothing is as it appears to be, and usually most things are the opposite of the truth, and that includes with the news and the news media. And that fake news stuff that's all started quite a while ago, that's going to get even bigger, because they're going to get caught. They're going to get caught with the fake news. Places like CNN and Fox is the worst, though. Fox is controlled by the darkness. Remember me saying that. And the month of June is going to be a month where some of this comes out, probably with Fox, all leading up. And I have some dates that I wanted to tell you actually come just as that pops in my mind as significant dates coming up. January 10th, January 17th, January 10th, January 11th, January 17th, March 11th, March 22nd, and June 6th. There's some of the dates that popped up as being very significant dates in the world. Major events, major things that shift. In all aspects, like I said, remember earth, air, fire, water. Remember all that. So going back to things falling from the sky, what was the other thing? I told you meteors. What else did I say? Oh, things falling out, like satellites falling from the sky. They're going to try to cover some of these up, especially with Russia when they know that they fail at things. And even North Korea shooting off missiles that don't go up and they end up falling back down on their own selves. Yeah, they're not going to tell you. They're going to try to cover that up because they don't want you to know their failures. But also the fire from the sky is going to be missiles being shot out of the sky, of course, bombing new areas, including North Korea. Trump's going to be big responsible. Trump does not take anything. And he's going to try to block things and block. Sanctions are going to go from being sanctions, say on paper, to physical sanctions. So, for example, instead of saying that, I can't even come up with an example, but sanctions like they put on North Korea or Russia in the way of paper and words, physical sanctions, and physical sanctions would be like going in there with missiles and stopping the imports of something, stopping their trade from happening, whether it's using missiles to blow up boats. That's the other thing. Again, remember, all elements. Things are going to happen on the water. Things are going to happen on the earth. Things are going to happen in the sky and in the air. Things are going to blow in like you wouldn't believe, and that's going to be more weather related. So let me go back to North Korea. So North Korea, there's a underlined mission here, and the plan was originally to work on a plan to assassinate Kim Jong-un, or whatever the hell his name is. I know his name, Kim Jong, but Kim Jong. There was a plan to assassinate him, which that plan's probably still in play. And they make it look like everything's America, everything's American. It's actually China's the underlined, is the ones with the underlying goal to go in and take over North Korea. Kim Jong, his leadership is about to end big time. He's about to go out. Remember, it's all about getting rid of the old, the control of the planet, and bringing in the new. Except China is part of the control that's going to try to come in. And that's probably where I see the blockages with sanctions physically, instead of on paper or in words, with missiles of some sort, stopping something from happening with China and interfering with the North Korea takedown. Kim Jong, it's like one day he's there, you see him, the next day he's totally gone. And to the point that it makes me bring up Julian Assange from WikiLeaks. He pops up in my mind. And it makes me laugh because this is another thing. Because there's a few psychics out there that claimed that he was dead, and that there was a fake imposter and look-alike, and one here in the United States who claims to be the America's #1 said he was dead, insisted he was dead, and then went on their blog and changed things and shifted things. That's why I do things live. Julian Assange, I know I'm pronouncing his name wrong, Julian Assange from WikiLeaks. You notice how that went in the dark a little bit? If you remember going back to the election and Trump and all that, how all this stuff came up, one minute he was supporting him, the next minute he wasn't. Remember, he realized that he didn't want people to know what was happening, but sometimes his mouth gets in the way and he says things that he didn't mean to say because he don't want people to know. So that's why he was was behind them, and the next minute he was against them. He had to go against them on purpose, but he's still with them, actually. And he has something to do with Julian Assange, who has been in hiding, in asylum, hiding for a long time in that embassy, in whatever country, I forget. And then he disappeared. Everybody thought he was dead. And then he did a live event, and then people said it was fake and he was a step in. I've been telling you all along, he's well and alive. That man is very smart. He's super duper smart. They ain't gonna get him. And they may have if Hillary would have gotten into office, because that would have happened with certain things and alignments, but they're not going to get him. He's actually going to finally be free, and he's going to be shipped. It's like he's going somewhere overseas to be protected. I wouldn't doubt, being that Trump talked about all that Trump might have something to do with that. I wouldn't doubt that he comes to the United States, actually. And this is the other thing that I got about this year, is it's all about a truth revealing year in the aspect of whistleblowers like Snowden. Snowden did a great thing, and he's another one that needs to, hopefully maybe somehow he'll realize this. He needs to get out of Russia. Yeah, he was safe there for a while, but once Russia and all this stuff with China and this alignment happens with China, he's not going to be safe there. And he'd actually be more safe coming back to the United States. I don't think this is going to happen in 2018. And I told you about him before, being attempts to take him out, which won't happen. Probably happen either next year or the following, where he's, I think without a doubt, that he's going to end up putting his feet back on his homeland where he was born, the United States, safely, with joy and happiness. So, be interesting. 2018, big year of a whistleblower. Big year of things coming out in truth and new forms of doing it. And then going back to things out of the sky. I'm going to leave you with this until my live event. Things falling from the skies, terror from the skies. I kept hearing the skies are falling, and I kept seeing flashes that were a little bit confusing, but then it made me feel like this is like Mother Earth's second awakening, and that therefore we're also going to I'm going to call this a year where we are all forced to look up and pay attention to the sky, because that's like brings up chemtrails and the people that say that's conspiracy theory. Well, I love when people try to debate with that. If you actually look up geoengineering and climate engineering, your government admits to doing it to try to cool down the planet. It just, every time I mention it, it amazes me that people don't look up anymore and look up at the sky anymore. Well, now Mother Earth is going to make you look up at the sky. She's going to make you pay attention. We're going to be forced to look up in the sky and pay attention. So keep in mind that we are all in the time of the awakening, and in order for the people to awaken, we're often take a hard hit in the head, to be knock some sense into us, to point out the many dangers that humanity for humanity and where they were derived from. So this will include events like meteors falling from the sky, like I said earlier, like what happened in Russia. But it's also going to include things that are connected to the darkness, which would be like computer systems, electronics. But how does that fall from the sky? I started to talk about that earlier. Only thing I can think of is like, what do you call them things? Oh God, what do you call them? I just drew a total blank. You know what I'm talking about. Things in the sky that are controlled like a computer system. I'm just drawing a total blank. I'm tired. I need to go to bed. Oh God, why can't I think of the word? But you know what I'm talking about. It's right at the tip of my tongue and I can't say it. So problems with that. And there's going to be terrorists that are going to finally, actually, I'm surprised they haven't yet. They're going to use them as a way of flying them in, like United States uses them to go bomb countries without any people involved. They're going to use these things to try to attempt terrorist attacks from the skies. Remember that. These areas that are in danger that came to me as far as that are New York City. New York's a big one. Israel, China, and several others. I'm trying to get the word. I can't get it out of my mind. I can't get it out of my mouth. So I'm going to leave you with that, folks. I'm going to take this. I wanted to tell you more, but I really need to go get some rest. Actually, one last thing that I will tell you. Where's my list? Give me my paper. When it comes to people this year, deaths, illnesses, big problems with that, with people, on the celebrity level. Sadly, I used to not like John McCain, and then I started watching some documentaries and interviews with him, and I actually became to really like that man. And I don't like all his views, and not all of them, but I actually started to shift a little bit with my opinion. Well, I'm saddened that as probably many of you probably feel this already, it's not going to be with us much longer. It's sad. It makes me sad. And, part of this is, of course, they don't want him to be either. So Clint Eastwood kept coming to my mind. So I would think that something's going to happen along the lines with his health. Jimmy Carter had the same issue, if I remember correctly, with the exact same disease that John McCain's dealing with. And then all of a sudden, Jimmy Carter was cured and okay. Well, he's going to be back in the headlines. Phil Collins, he came to me. Harrison Ford, Ozzy Osbourne. They're some of the people that came to me. Not that they will all be people that will pass, but some of them will. So with that, sign up to my newsletter on my website, josephtittel.com. I will be organizing these much better for you for when we choose a live date. Remember to check out the survey so that we can come together as one, so that we can focus with an intention and bring love to the planet. That's why I want to bring everybody together. I will have a lot more for you. I have quite a bit of work to do still. I think that, let me just do a quick breeze. I think that's what I needed to get out there first, because some of these things are going to happen in January. I want to make sure I get it all out there. Just give me a moment to take a quick breeze. Terror from the skies. Yeah, I think that about covers it, my friends. I think that about covers it for now. Yeah. So let me leave you with that. Again, go to my website, josephtittel.com, Tittel. Please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube page down below so you can get updates. The other thing that I'm going to be doing differently, like I said earlier, is I'm going to be doing more live events, either sometimes monthly, sometimes bi-monthly, because I have busy seasons where I just might be hard for me to do that, to update you with predictions and things. I am working hard on dedicating myself to that aspect. I have all these different YouTube videos in my mind that I've had for a while that I want to present to you. So again, please subscribe down below. I wish you all an amazingly healthy, joyful, abundant 2018 and beyond. And I will see you very soon in the very near future. Namaste. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.